Hello and welcome back to the channel. Two videos in one day. Taking this YouTube thing quite seriously. There's been an update that's came out earlier on today, and it's specifically related to the contract situation about Mo Salah. Obviously, following on from the Man United game, which still buzzing about by the way. Mo Salah made some comments in the after game interview that he was in the last year of his contract. This is his last year at the club, and nobody's actually spoke to him about whether or not he's willing to extend his contract, and so on and so forth. But today, well, I suppose in a way that sent like shivers down all of our spines. Not just the fact that it almost feels like more of a realization hearing the player actually say, "I'm leaving at the end of the season," especially when it's a player like Mo Salah. But also the fact that the club haven't even opened any form of contract negotiations with him. Now, I did say in previous videos that I did expect the transfer window to get out of the way first, and then the club would actually go in and start doing their negotiations, which obviously is proven to be the case now, assuming that the contract negotiations do get underway anytime soon. And I'll be honest with you, I also kind of figured that Liverpool would kind of work it. I don't know how the negotiations normally take place. Like, for example, do they do all three at the same time? Do they focus on one contract and then go 1, 2, 3? If that was the case, personally, I would expect to see Trent's contract come out first. Partly because of basically the situation around the player. So, for example, if you think about FSG and everyone else and the whole money side of things, Trent is probably the most profitable player for Liverpool, given his age is coming into his peak. But also what he means to Liverpool and the fact that, we all think he's going to be future captain. I kind of assume that we'd hear more around his contract first and then moving on to, say, a Van Dijk or a Salah, and then it could be either of those two. I kind of thought it would be Van Dijk's first before Salah's, because obviously he's the club captain, but I think given the statement from Salah, that could probably put a bit of urgency into Liverpool, because based on the transfer window, obviously a lot of disappointed fans, but if we can get these contracts done and dusted and signed as soon as possible, it brings a bit more, goodwill around that kind of thing. But there's been an update today from Fabrizio regarding Mo Salah's contract, and in some ways it's good news, but at the same time, I don't know if I fully trust Fabrizio Romano. I think a lot of the times what he says is just stuff that's obvious to most people, and also he says a lot of stuff that I think ultimately it's wrong, but. And I also know that like you can kind of pay him to be on your channel and things like that. So I don't really know to what extent I would take this, and I'd say with a pinch of salt. But at the same time, I think a lot of the stuff he says is kind of obvious. So I'm just going to read through the comments here, or read through what Romano actually says. So it starts off with Arne Slot is very happy with him, and they want to keep him at the club. So at the moment, it all depends on talks taking place between Mo and Liverpool in the next few months. This is what I mean when I say a lot of the stuff that he says is obvious. So, like, we kind of know that Slot's very happy with him. How could you not be with his goals and assists so far this season? And again, it depends on talks taking place between Mo and Liverpool. Obviously, it's a contract situation. And in the next few months. And then we know that as well, because in January, he's free to discuss a new contract with other teams, aside from Liverpool. But I suppose the good news from there is that the statement that they want to keep him at the club, identifying that Liverpool do want to keep Salah. So that's good news, obviously, because there's always that kind of thing about, given Mo's age, would Liverpool be unwilling to offer him a new contract because he's 32 years old, he'd be going to like 33 years old coming into the season. What would Liverpool think about offering him a new contract? So he then goes on to say the situation for Mo is quite clear. He would be really happy to continue at Liverpool. I can confirm that. I think that this is a crucial part of the story. And then, given an update into what Mo thinks, he says, Mo would like to stay at the club. Mo is very happy at Liverpool. Mo believes that his future could still be in the Premier League in a Liverpool shirt, so the message from the player side is clear. And then he concluded with, it now depends on if they can reach an agreement on financial terms. So, again, it's saying a lot without really saying anything. I suppose the good news is that, again, confirming that whilst Liverpool want to keep Mo at the club, Mo also himself wants to stay at the club as well, and he believes that his future is still in the Premier League wearing a Liverpool shirt. So that's very good. And then going on to say it all depends on whether they can agree financial terms. So one thing that I do know is that as players start to reach a certain age, clubs don't tend to offer them increases in their salary, and also they tend to be a bit more cautious with the length of that contract as well. So in Mo's case, for example, would Liverpool be willing to offer him more money, with Mo thinking that this could be his last chance of getting a big contract? But we all know that once, if he accepted the contract at Liverpool, whenever that contract expired, he could go to Saudi and still earn a ton of money over there. So would he be willing to accept, for example, a new deal on the same terms, a new deal on the £350,000 that he reportedly earns a week? Or would he be willing to accept a bit less? I think when it comes to the wages, obviously we know that Liverpool have cleared a lot of wages off the books with Matip, Thiago both leaving the club. So that is a plus side. So we can be, kind of open to negotiating more wages. Obviously, taking in mind what we'd be willing to offer Trent and Van Dijk for them to sign on. I think the sticking point there might come with the length of the contract. I think one of the things that I've kind of been saying is that, in my personal opinion, we should offer Trent a 5-year deal, or as long as he's willing to accept. And then with Van Dijk and with Salah, you offer them 2-year deals. And then you could also include in that like an option of a third. If, for example, Mo hits certain targets, then we can extend his contract by another season, or we leave it in our hands so that if we think that he still offers value to the team after that 2 years, we can extend his contract by another year, just to keep him on for that little bit longer. However, I do think that Mo would probably want to have a longer contract. I think he'd probably be looking at a minimum of 3 years with perhaps an option of a fourth, and that might be the sticking point, whether or not FSG, Hughes and Edwards are willing to offer a player into his 30s a contract that's going to take him right the way through to his mid-30s. Personally, I don't see much of a risk with Mo. To be fair, I don't see much of a risk with Van Dijk as well. They're both, you think about injury records, both of them are relatively injury-free. I know Virgil had one big injury, but other than that, he's pretty much been always available, and the same with Mo. And also, we're coming into, Mo's 7th or 8th season at the club, and he seems to be getting better and better and better. Like from now, he's sort of adapted to new roles. So last season under Klopp, we saw him kind of change from that goal scorer that he's always been for us, but he's now gone to be more, for example, of an assister, trying to provide more goals and try and get Darwin, fully settled into the club. And then this season, we've kind of seen the previous Mo combined with the new Mo. So now we have this Mo Salah that's scoring goals, assisting goals, that's basically doing everything that he can in front of goal to make sure Liverpool score. So I don't really see much of a risk with those players on offering them longer deals. And me personally, I would do it. I think a 3-year deal for Mo, it doesn't really carry much of a risk. And I would probably offer him the same terms as what he's currently on now. I think that, in terms of like Liverpool, for example, we have very, very good players in my opinion, but we don't have many players that I would class as being like world class. I think Trent in his position is, Van Dijk is, Alisson is, and Mo is. And if you've got those world class players, then obviously you want to try and keep them at the club, and you tie them down to contracts that they would be willing to sign. So for me, I would say get the deals done, get all 3 of them signed up, and I'll be happy with it. I did previously say in videos that I was almost resigned to the fact that I do think Mo's going to leave. And I think there's still part of me that's thinking that that could be the case. But I'm a little bit more coming around now to the fact that Mo might stay. I think that his comments after the game against Man United, I think he picked probably the perfect time to mention that he was still waiting on that contract. After another brilliant performance against Man United. Another game where he's got 2 assists and a goal. But also, I think with the signing of Chiesa, it might have made him think a little bit like, whoa. I don't, he's probably hoping that Liverpool don't see Chiesa as being the succession plan for him. And because we've got him, we're less likely to agree to a deal with Mo. So maybe those comments were a little bit aimed at that as well. But I think he knows how much he's loved at the club and how much the fans want to keep him here. And judging by Fabrizio's comments as well, it seems like he would be willing to stay at the club for however long Liverpool are willing to negotiate for. So, again, in my opinion, just get the deals done, get Mo signed, get Trent signed, get Virgil signed. And then I still think, no matter what, so obviously, getting these contract signs is fantastic and all. It doesn't make up for a disappointing transfer window. It doesn't suddenly make me, change my mind and think, oh, well, the transfer window was poor, but we got the free contracts, so everything's rosy. No, I still think we need to start strengthening the team, regardless of, what rumours may or may not come out around the January transfer window. But getting those 3 players signed, I think, is the minimum that we would probably expect from what Liverpool could have done this summer. It's basically just tying down our world-class players, and then we'll see where slot can go. And then hopefully in January, we'll strengthen what needs to be strengthened. But anyway, I thought I'd give you that update. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash a like. Let me know in the comments below. What's your opinions on the contract situation? What would you offer Mo? Would you be happy to give him the same wages? Would you offer him more wages? And also, what length of contract would you give him? Would you just basically give him as many years as he wants? Or would you be slightly more concerned with his age and probably give him less in terms of, maybe a 2-year contract, or, look at a 1-year extension or something along those lines? So yeah, drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Hit the subscribe button to be notified of when I do more videos. Click the little bell icon. And I will catch you all in the next one. I'll speak to you soon. Take care. Goodbye.